It does with that thematic especially, but it is a very highly political issue as well when it comes to employment in the auto industry. So I've got to ask you then, this UAW mess that we're seeing right now, everyone wants to say Tesla is the main beneficiary, but
right.
what about some of the Korean automakers? Because, they're not dealing with the same union pressures. This would obviously help them too in terms of, not having to deal with the margin pressure that a number of these companies are going to face as well.
All right. So, yeah, I think many of the Asian global automakers will benefit from the UAW. Obviously, they're not having a large wage hike burden as in American peers. And also, the Hyundai recently had reached a tentative agreement with the labor union management related to the wage hike. And obviously, if you look at Japan, many of these Japanese automakers have no issue at the labor union side. So obviously, these companies would like to benefit. But I guess it depends on the longevity of the labor strike, since many of the U.S. automakers are still sitting at larger inventory level compared to their Asian peers. So it depends on the longevity. But I think there is a very high chance that this strike will last quite a bit long time, given the hawkish comment we hear from the both sides of the table.
Can I just ask you as well, because it does appear that, you've got all of these issues in, the auto industry right now. It's not just what we're talking about with the UAW and Ford, Stellantis and GM. You've also got the EU suggesting or launching anti-subsidy probes into some of these China EV makers. So I asked the question again, but within a different context. Is this a net benefit for the non-Asia, the Hyundai, the Japanese and South Korea's automakers in Europe as well?
Well, I mean, we're talking about two different subjects. I mean, one is obviously a labor issue, but another is actually supply chain localization. So any government, any authority who spend billions of dollars into EV industry would definitely demand for jobs to be made or cars to be made in that economic bloc. So I think one of the incentive behind this anti-subsidy probe by the EU also has to do with the helping and protecting the manufacturing jobs in the European region. And in that regard, Chinese are still importing their vehicle from China, meaning there's no job being created in Europe. And that's, I think, where the authorities are asking. And when you look at Koreans, they do make vehicles in Europe, mostly Czech and Slovakia. And obviously, there are plenty of EV value chain located in Europe already. So I see it as a benefit to Koreans, or European and Korean, or at least a company who has the local production capacity would like to benefit from this anti-subsidy probe that Europe plans to launch.